In the last class, we saw how can we make antenna with the help of transmission line. I explained two techniques by uh, flaring of the conductor. This is the one method, and by increasing the frequency of the signal. Okay, in these two methods, whenever we flare the structure, transmission line structure, then characteristic impedance of the transmission line will change at every point. Okay, at the end, the characteristic impedance will match with the impedance of the free space, and the power will be transferred from transmission line to free space. In second method, I told to you break the spatial imbalance condition. How can we break it, the spatial imbalance condition? If we increase the frequency, then operating wavelength will reduce. And what was the spatial balance condition? That is S is very less than lambda. That was the spatial balance condition. If we increase the frequency, then operating wavelength will reduce. Operating wavelength will reduce means there is a chance that when you get S is comparable to lambda, whenever you get the S is comparable to the lambda, then spatial balance condition will be broken and structure will start radiation. Okay, so in this lecture we will study the radiation mechanism. There is a charge and its velocity is 0, then I can say the charge is in static mode, and the tendency of such kind of charge is to emit the electric field. In this figure, this charge is kept at origin, and at point P we want to measure the electric field, and this charge will produce the electric field in radial direction. You can see in this equation. What is AR? This AR cap is nothing but it is representing the direction of electric field. I can also say from this figure, this point P is present in free space, means electric field will be the function of x, y, z. Free space means x, y, z. Space is related to the word spatial. How can we read this thing? It's a spatial distribution of the electric field, and this field is also known as static field. And what is the difference between static and dynamic field? Whenever the E is the function of space only, then we say static field, and if E is the function of time as well as space, then we say dynamic field. Okay, so this is the difference between static and dynamic field. Okay, in next page, look at here, there is a charge, and this charge is moving with constant velocity. Whenever the charge is moving, then it will produce current. There is a conductor and charge is moving in this direction, and the current will move in this direction, and this conductor is excited by DC. Look at the profile of current. This current in this profile of current, you can see the current is constant with respect to the time. Okay, so whenever the current is flowing through the conductor, suppose that this is a conductor and thumb is the direction of current, and wrap your finger, then you will get the direction of magnetic field with the help of Ampere's law. So this is the conductor. This conductor is carrying I amount of current. Then what will be the direction of magnetic field? It will be inside of the paper. So this magnetic field is nothing but it is the function of space. Then I can say it is nothing but it's a spatial distribution of magnetic field. Again, you can say this magnetic field is static in nature. Okay, in both cases you saw the static field, but antenna produces the dynamic field. So how can we produce the dynamic field? Let's see. Okay, there is a charge, and there is a charge, and dv over dt, this term is nothing but it's a acceleration. If any charge is accelerated, then definitely it will radiate some energy. Okay, so for the radiation, there must be acceleration. Okay, let's see this figure. This is the a conductor, three-dimensional conductor having cross-sectional area A, length is L, subjected with excitation source. Okay, if there is movement of charge particle, there will be electron. Okay, if there is electron, okay, one more thing you must remember, we do not talk about the velocity of single electron. Actually, we talk about the average velocity of the electron. Okay, so remember, this Vz is nothing but it's a drift velocity, which is average velocity. Okay, suppose there is total charge q, present in this conductor, and if we divide with volume, total charge with volume, then the another quantity will come in picture, that is known as charge per unit volume, and this quantity is known as volume charge density. Look at here, total charge divided by volume is nothing but it's a volume charge density. Okay, there is another term, that is volume current density. There is JV is nothing but it's a volume current density. Okay, so you have to remember this equation. In next page I will tell you how does it come. Okay, let's see what is the definition of current. What is the definition of current? Current is nothing but it's a charge per unit time is known as current. Okay, in the conductor there is enormous amount of electron, so current is generated because of large amount of electron rather than a single electron. So I should multiply with n. N into q is nothing but it's a total charge actually. Okay, now what is T? Time taken by electron to travel this distance L. Time taken by the charge particle to travel this distance L is known as this time T. And what is Vd? Vd is nothing but drift velocity. Drift velocity nothing but it's a average velocity. Okay, put the value of T here, you get this thing. Okay, what is this? This is nothing but it's a cross sectional area of the conductor. In both sides we divide with A. A is nothing but cross sectional area. Okay, so ampere divided by area is nothing but it's a current density. N into Q is nothing but it's a total charge. Total charge divided by L into A. L into A is nothing but it's a volume. Total charge divided by volume is nothing but volume charge density. And what is Vd? Vd is nothing but drift velocity, and drift velocity is nothing but it's a area. Drift velocity is nothing but it's a average velocity. Okay, so let's see okay, now let's consider this equation. Okay, and check the unit. What is the unit of this one? It's a volume current density, ampere per meter square. And what is the unit of this one? Coulomb per meter cube. What is the unit of velocity? Meter per second. Meter cancel out, finally you will get ampere per meter square. At left hand side and right hand side both units are equal, then I can say this equation is balanced. Okay, let's consider the two-dimensional conductor. So in the two-dimensional conductor, in place of volume current density I should write surface current density. In place of volume charge density I should write surface charge density. And Vz is nothing but it's a velocity, drift velocity of the electron, or drift velocity of the charge particle. Okay, let us assume that you have one dimensional conductor. So in place of surface current density, you have to write a line current density, or in the place of surface charge density you have to write line charge density, and Vz will be Vz. Okay, there is another important thing here. What is the unit of line charge density? That is Coulomb per meter. Unit of velocity, meter per second. Meter cancel out, Coulomb per second is nothing but ampere. So ampere is nothing but it's a current. So in this equation is saying current and line current density, both are same thing. Okay, so let's take okay, one more thing you must remember. There is a conductor. Okay, there is a conductor and its length is 5 meter. And I have written here the line charge density 5 coulomb per meter. What is the meaning of this thing? The meaning of this thing is nothing but in 1 meter there is 5 coulomb, in 2 meter 10, in 3 meter 15, 4 meter 20, in 5 meter 25. Basically what you have done, if you multiply this number 5 meter multiply by 5 coulomb per meter, then you will get the total charge. Okay, means what you have done, length is multiply with line current density, then you will get the total charge. Okay, look at this expression. In last page you saw this equation, multiply with length both side. Now look at here, length multiply by line charge density will produce total charge. Okay, so you get this equation. Now differentiate with respect to the time. So this is the differentiation of this equation. Okay, in this equation you can see there is a term dl by dt. What is the L? L is nothing but it was the length of the conductor, and length of the conductor is not varying with respect to the time. Okay, so this differentiation, this term will be 0. And dqt over dt, in the conductor the value of total charge will be constant, it does not vary with respect to the time, so this term will be also 0. Finally you get a equation L di by dt is equal to qt dvz upon dt, and this equation is known as equation of radiation. Equation of radiation says two things. What is? There is acceleration of the charged particle, there is time varying current. Means radiation is possible whenever there is the acceleration of charged particle, and second thing, radiation is possible if conductor is subjected with time varying current. If you apply DC current you will get nothing, if you apply time varying current then you will get radiation. Okay, so hopefully you have got the concept of radiation. And radiation, if you want radiation from the conductor, there must be acceleration of the charged particle. So in next lecture I will explain the second part of equation of radiation. And if you like this lecture, then please like, subscribe and share it. Thank you very much.